Good Erev Shabbos. We are back. Today is not Friday. Today is Erev Shabbos Kodesh. And how badly could you use an Erev Shabbos? A Shabbos Kodesh. Every single week we need it to rest, to restore, to rejuvenate, to rebuild, to redefine, to start again. Turn Friday into Erev Shabbos series is generously sponsored by our dear friends Mendy and Sipora Fishman, as Chos V'chai Rivka Bas Sipora Fredel, in memory of Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, Rabbi Yaakov Ben David Aryeh. This week's Turn Friday into Erev Shabbos is also sponsored by Rafi and Ariel and Mutechin in honor of the parents, Ben Sion and Raz Matechin in memory of his grandparents, Harry and Regina Goodworth, Tzvi Ben Naftali and Rivka Bas Asher Yechiel, and the Shamas should have an Aliyah. Ooh, Shabbos. Shabbos is the Makor Bracha. That's what we daven tonight. We sing in Lechadodi. Shabbos is the source of all blessing, the source of all bracha. And how badly do we need that bracha? So much going on in the world. The life is always changing. We daven for those injured in Amsterdam. We daven for the safety and security of Jews around the world, and the hostages return, and the soldiers be safe and back home. We need Shabbos. We need the bracha of Shabbos, the serenity of Shabbos, the gift of Shabbos, the blessing of Shabbos. Shabbos, the Makor Bracha. You know, we just read a couple weeks ago, Bereshis, and we say this every Friday night in Kiddush, Vaychal Elokim Yom Hashvi Melachto. Vaychal Elokim B'Yom Hashvi means that Hashem stopped, he ceased all the work he had been doing, the creativity, the building, the work. And Rashi there says, Davar Acher Ma Haya Olam Chaser. What was the world missing? What was lacking? And Rashi answers, Chazal say, Menucha. What was missing was rest, serenity. Ba Shabbos, Bas Menucha. Chazal tell us when Shabbos comes, Shabbos introduced true rest to the world. Kolsa v'nigmara hamalacha. Finished, complete was the work. Menucha, menucha. And it sounds like Rashi, menucha is not just heder malacha. You could say, what's rest? You're either working, and when you're done working, rest is the absence of working. You're at rest. You're at rest. But Rashi is teaching us that that's not what it means. It's not what it means. Ha'olam hayachasar menucha, hainu shayitzorach la'olam bria shel menucha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to create something, not just the absence of work, not just being at rest, but he created something new, a new creation, a creation called menucha. Vayechal Elokim B'Yom Hashvi Malachto. Hakavana al Habriya Malachto Shel Menucha. What he finished doing was creating which malacha? The malacha of creating rest. What's this rest that's not the absence of work? What do you mean? When you lie on the couch, when you lie in bed, when you pass out on the recliner, you're resting. Because why are you resting? Because you're not walking, you're not running, you're not working, you're not going, you're not doing, you're not cooking, you're not shopping. So you're resting. Isn't rest just the absence of work? So Rashi says no. What HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Shabbos for was a different type of rest, an altogether different type of rest. It says, Asher bara Elokim la'asos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world la'asos. That means that the Tachlis B'riyas HaOlam says of Shmuel Berenbaum, She'adam ya'avod v'ya'amol. Adam la'amol yulad. La'asos. We were put in this world to create, to do, to manufacture, to build, to vision. That's why we're here. We're here to work. We're here to work. And the key work is Iker Amelis, is Amelis B'Torah. To toil in Torah. That means not just to learn Torah, to live Torah, to mold and shape the world in the image and the vision and the blueprint of Torah. That's what life is all about. Lasos, to do. In Aseres Adibros, we say 6 days, 6 days, go work. Work is not just a concession. Work is not just because you need a livelihood, you need income. Work is a value. Work is a value. Interacting with the world, shaping the world, manipulating the world, controlling the world, conquering the world. Work, sheshas yamim tavod, v'asisa malachtecha. It doesn't just say rest on the seventh day, and if you can afford it, rest all 7 days. It says work for 6 days and rest on the seventh, because the work of the 6 days is a value. V'yom hashvi Shabbos Hashem Elokecha, lo sa'aseko malacha. Shmita, sheish shanim tizra sadecha, v'sheish shanim tizmar kamecha. Same thing. With Shemitah, 6 years work and toil your field, your vineyard, and then the 7th year let it rest. The prerequisite to the rest is the work. And the work is not a concession. It's not something you try to avoid or bemoan. Work is a value. Work is why we're here. Adam la'amal yulad. It's what life is, what is all about. The Gemara Ksuvas tells us, Batala mevi l'idei shiamum, that if a person sits idle, we know this today. All the research shows, when you have nothing to do is exactly when you get in trouble. When people are bored is when they act out. So much of addiction and recovery is avoiding boredom, because when a person is bored, they return back to that activity, that pattern that got them in trouble to begin with. Boredom, inactivity is bad. It breeds bad decisions, bad activities, bad choices. Gamavila de zima. Why? Because a person was made to be an osa. Asher bara Elokim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. Why? La'asos. We should be doing. We're not supposed to be Yoshev Batel. We don't sit idle doing nothing. We don't sit doing nothing. Being idle, doing nothing, being bored gets us in trouble, creates problems. Hashem bara Elokim, why did God create the world? La'asos, go do, go conquer, go change, go manipulate, go be part of this world. But Shabbos has a special bracha. Holy friends, as we're getting ready, we're turning our Friday into Erev Shabbos. Shabbos has a special bracha. That Shabbos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created menucha. Ba Shabbos, bas menucha. But now we understand. Menucha, says Rav Shmuel Berenbaum, rest is not just the absence of work, because the whole purpose is work. Rest is a creation in its own right. The rest of Shabbos is not an inactive rest. It is an active rest, a positive rest. It's a rest through learning, and a rest through reading, and a rest through a beautiful Suda, a meal of singing Zmiros and telling stories and sharing Divrei Torah. It's not a rest of leave me alone, I need my space, I'm passing out on the couch, I'm mindlessly, numbingly watching virally something on TV or Netflix binging. That's not the rest. That rest is the rest that gets you in trouble. That rest is the being idle that creates problems. The rest of Shabbos, the menucha of Shabbos, menucha, is not an inactive rest. It's an active rest. It's the active rest of connecting with others, with ourselves, and with Hashem. It's the active rest of reading and learning and singing and playing and laughing. It's an active rest. That's the Matana Tova that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has held for us. And He gave us this great gift. That's the Neshama Yisera. Rashi says, what's the Neshama Yisera Hashem gives on Erev Shabbos and that we lose on Motzei Shabbos? Rochav Lev Lemenucha Ulesimcha. Rashi says the Neshama Yisera creates this capacity for this active rest. Where do you see this notion? So, Chaver, get ready to rest. And when I say get ready to rest this Shabbos, Erev Shabbos is preparing for how to rest on Shabbos. Why do you have to prepare for how to rest? Because the resting is not just doing nothing. You don't have to prepare to do nothing. You just turn the off switch. You just do nothing. But we're not preparing for doing nothing. We're preparing for doing something. And what's the something? The active form of resting, the proper resting. Menuchas emes ve'emunah, menucha shalom ve'shalva, menucha sheyesh lam vetach, menucha, we say in Shabbos Mincha, all these descriptions and adjectives of the kind of menucha that we have. The rest is a menuchas ava, it's a rest of love, it's a rest of bitachon, of faith in Hashem, it's a rest of growth, it's a rest of rejuvenation, it's a rest that our neshama is expanded. You see, you can't rest during the week. Why? Because that technology, that phone, it's buzzing, it's beeping, it's ringing, it's dinging. You can't be at rest. Shabbos, you disconnect. Neshama Yisera means there's no technology, there's no to-do list, there's no distractions. Now you can really rest. Not the rest of silence and being idle and doing nothing, but now you really have the space. Now you really have the space to rest in an active, positive, proactive way, a real type of rest, to turn Shabbos into this Makor Bracha. That's our mission. Spend Erev Shabbos figuring out how you're going to rest on Shabbos, how your Neshama Yisera, your expanded Neshama, is going to connect with all the other holy Neshamas in your home, around your table. Not just the rest of leave me alone, don't talk to me, let's end the meal as quickly as possible, I want to go to sleep, I want to set a record for how much I can sleep. That's not the kind of rest. In fact, that kind of rest gets you in trouble. We know that people, when they have too much time on their hands, when they're too bored, when they don't have enough work to do, that's when they get in trouble. That's not the rest that we're seeking. The rest of Shabbos, the gift of Shabbos, the Ba Shabbos Bas Menucha, is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a new Menucha. And it's a Menucha of Shalom and Shalva, a Menucha of Vetach. It's a different type of Menucha. We should all be Zocha to that Menucha, Mir Tzashem. We should be Zocha. Menucha that won't leave us bored and idle. A Menucha that won't turn us to trouble. Spend today figuring out what book, what sefer, what zemer, what story, what game am I going to play, what connection, what time am I going to have, how am I going to achieve that Menucha. And let Shabbos Taka bring great bracha. Let Shabbos bring bracha. Shabbos in the Lizzo, the Geula Krova Lavo. May Shabbos bring us to a closer state of the Geula that we so desperately need. Shabbos Chazal.